verde que te quiero verde, verde viento, verde rama, el vago sobre la mar, el caballo, la montaña verde. Yo te quiero verde, sí, sí, te quiero verde, ay, ay, te quiero verde. Con la sombra en la cintura, ella sueña en su barranda, verde ojos, negro pelo, su cuerpo de frío plata verde. Yo te quiero verde, sí, sí, te quiero verde, ay, ay, te quiero verde. Compadre, quiero cambiar mi caballo por tu casa, mi montura por tu espejo, mi cuchillo por tu manta verde. Yo te quiero verde, sí, sí, te quiero verde, ay, ay, te quiero verde.
Hey, 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 everybody! Welcome to the TCWL season finale. This is season 4 finishing up, but I am not alone because I have the beautiful co-host with the mostest right here who is sitting to my left, your right, if you're watching this on the YouTube and everywhere else that we're going to be throwing this out the rest of the week. Lady TORI Sparks, thank you so much for being here. And since we're here together, we're going to do this pop so that everybody can hear it. And now it's a bloody party representing a little bit of Peralada. And hey, the bubbles didn't fly out. Everybody, I do want to welcome you back. We had a little bit of a Christmas break, and I hope everyone has had, well, a Christmas break, as we say here. And I hope everybody has had a beautiful time. I know that we celebrated a lovely Saint Esteban, I have to say this, and a shout out to a woman in the corner that no one's going to see, but nobody puts baby in a corner.
Oh, but she's not baby, she's la reina, la jefa. My mama's here visiting, and she is basically the queen of the universe, so thank you for being here
Mama.
with us, invisible, but amazing.
And thank you for being with us here on our final wrap-up of Season 4 here at the Club with Lucas, and we've got a lot to get to as well. So remember, folks, you can catch the jams live all over the beautiful state of Catalonia on 106.9 FM, as well as rce.cat. And we're going to be repping and celebrating and throwing out fresh music from people from our local artists, and local community like Lady TORI Sparks, my Queen of Flameco-Fusion Rock, as we dub her in Barcelona. But also, we have a lot to talk about after this first song. Now, the first song we're going to be throwing out is one by, well, actually, we just came back with a song called Verde, which is on a specific, well, special and show that you're going to be throwing out. We're going to talk a little bit about it, but what is it called, please, really quickly?
This is a project that we released this year called El Mar Electric.
Exactly.
Which is the shortest version possible, because you guys know me, I'm never like cortito hablando, well, cortita a veces sí hablando, pero like verbos, we talk with the hands, we have Italian roots, you know. But El Mar Electric was an homenaje to all the different influences that have basically helped make our band, which is a mix of rock and blues and flamenco of different countries, different cultures, different everythings. And because during the pandemic we couldn't do some big celebration of my 10-year anniversary in Barcelona, we decided to do a special limited edition vinyl album of our first album we did together, El Mar, a new live show called El Mar Electric that kind of pays homage to that, and a video EP, which, what is a video EP? No one really knows. I invented this. It's 5 live videos that present the project, which we will be presenting officially live in a concert cycle in the spring.
Beautiful. And this is what we're going to talk about, as well as so much more. You know, we've got news and clues that you can use. So remember, you can also catch the jams live, as I said, on rce.cat. Follow us, of course, at our social media level. We just blossom for you and open up to the world for you. At The Club with Lucas on Instagram, and The Club at W Lucas for now on Twitter, unless we move to Mastodon, because we'll talk about that later. But anyway, let's jump into another song, because this is another band that you are well connected to, called A Contra Blues, which play here as well. And I believe they're part of one of the projects that you're working on as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the idea was, if we're going to do a wrap-up, and I had the honor, and for all of my jokes, the honor to be a part of your last last show of the year. Thank you so
Mom.
much.
It's been
Lucas.
2 or 3 years since you were here, so thank you.
And to celebrate the fact that we're sort of getting back to normal life a bit after this pandemic.
We'll talk about that.
Yes. I thought it would be cool then rather than say, here's a bunch of my songs, play my songs. Okay, yes, I'm tired of my songs. I've heard them so many times. I thought it would be nice to play also songs from bands that are local, but also these people have these incredible careers. But people who are based here in Barcelona, Barcelona bands who have been picando piedra, working really hard. And A Contra Blues is a band that I have collaborated with in the past. They just celebrated their 15th anniversary as a band. I think that's a big deal. That's hard to do. And they're one of these bands that deserves to be, you know, arriba, ganando, winning all kinds of awards and things. And sometimes they do, because they deserve it. This is from their new album, Jab, called Toxic Love.
And I love the cover of this record. You can also find this where all good music is streamed, like Tidal or Spotify. But this song is called Toxic Love. And I think some of us have been through some shite this year about the Toxic Love. And so we're serving up 3 minutes of good jams from local artists. This is A Contra Blues with Toxic Love, and we'll be right back. Remember, folks, 106.9 FM and RCE.cat.
Just a pinch of bad taste in love.
We're going to put the God in another place. All right, everybody. Welcome back. And that was A Contra Blues. And we just love to jump to the news right now and ching ching, everybody. I really do hope that everyone has had a beautiful Christmas. Cheers to the queen in the corner, too. And to Santi, who makes this shit happen every week. Seriously, thank you, sir.
Yeah, without our technicals, photographers, behind the scenes people, all the people who work behind the scenes, radio, musicians, whatever.
Thank
We
you.
don't exist, so thank you.
No,
to the
honestly,
crew.
thank you, because the ish gets real sometimes, and they're the ones behind the scenes, like Mr. Santi with the gangsta lean, who makes things happen. So, firstly, we're going to get to a little bit of a spot of news, because that's what we do here as well, because who else serves you the news as we do with clues and reviews throughout Spain, Catalonia, and, of course, the EU and the States. All right, so much going on over the holidays. So we're going to skip other things that, well, that are already in progress and we can't really do anything to change them. But right now, and this is really important, so I'm going to throw that my translator. As we speak, the Council of Ministries here in the Moncloa of Madrid is giving a green light to the third aid package to alleviate the effects of the energy crisis, because up until this winter, Spain has been paying the most in electricity and resources of that nature than anywhere else in the world. Okay, but now it's the UK, and we're going to get to that in just a second as well. But PM Sanchez is going to appear. Please.
No, the sarcastic laughter came from, don't we have sun? Where are our solar panels? I just wanted to ask. I know. Weird
No,
question.
and this came up in lunch and dinner yesterday as well, as we were speaking. But he's appearing to meet with the stock mark. He's taking stock of the year, and presenting inflations. I've been gone for a couple of weeks, guys, and I just on a sip of kava. But he's presenting measures to continue the curbing of escalation of the inflation. Now, I will say that we are below the 8 to 9% range, which is really pushing up in a lot of different countries. So we're doing better than most. They're taking off a lot of VAT that's going to be charging on food. So they're going to be reducing a lot of that, as well as 6.8 in reductions for people who have climate control things in their homes.
Oh, really? Because last year when I tried to put in solar panels, they were going to find me. Hey,
Okay.
government, let's hang out, because now we're getting along better. Maybe you could have some
And maybe this is why they're trying to implement these things. So another thing that they're going to be doing is they claim that the highest ratio of food that has been increasing in that ratio of inflation has been with food, a stratospheric, like La Vanguardia is saying, at 50.3%. Damn. So for this region, there will be presenting an alleviation tax to help with that. The foods hitherto will be taxed at 10% instead of 21%. That will be oils, yogurts, pastas, meats, and fish. And other staples such as milk, eggs, cheese, veggies, fruit, and bread will only be taxed now at 4%, which is a drastic reduce from 21%.
Well, and it should be.
So this is going to start alleviating little things. Now, I believe that some of this is actually money that is left over from the fact that, Spain and Italy got more money from the European Commission than anybody else for the pandemic and the resources and refunds. So part of that is what's happening. The other thing that I would really like to talk to, because it does affect people and members of my community, hear those bones, is the fact that there's a new trans law that's being passed, that has just been passed here and in Scotland. And because we live here, and because Scottish people are part of our listening audience, it is a very interesting thing, and I'm torn. I'm really torn about this. Because in Spain, and I also don't like the way that El País, La Vanguardia, the way that they presented it is very like, So, but in both cases, what is happening is that Spain will now be permitting change of sex for children after 12 years old. Now, at this age until 16, you will have to have some jurisdiction and guidance by the courts. So that's going to be happening.
By the courts or by the parents?
By the courts.
What age can you drink here in Spain?
18, legally. But everyone starts around 14, 15.
Or 11.
There's that too. And so one of those things is in Scotland, they're calling it the recognition of sexual modification, which they will have up to 16 years old, and you don't really need parents' permission. That is one of the things that's being floated here at the age of 12, is you can do this with doctor's permission, but not necessitate parents' permission. And that is coming into some sectors of feminist and parental guidance councils here are having a bit of a problem with that.
Well, they also passed...
And they're very left. Some of these feminists, excuse me for interrupting, my love. They're very leftist, some of these feminist organizations. And they're kind of like, this feels a little bit extreme.
I was going to say, are there right feminist organizations? But they had recently passed a law that had to do with abortion rights and how when you can get an abortion, for example, women under 16 are now allowed to get medical attention if they're in need of an abortion without parental permission. consent. Something like that
Right.
seems to me, in my personal opinion, not being a politician nor a lawmaker, but being a woman, something that makes total sense. This law that you're talking about now, I think it'll be really interesting to
16.
get your audience's opinions on the Facebook, on the YouTube, on the
We're gonna-
internet, and see what they think, because this is going to be something that people are going to have a
This.
very strong opinion about one way or the other. You know.
Okay, can I take a picture of that? I want to take a video of that. Why do you think that element? Is there an element in your idea between 12 and 16 and parental permission
Well, personally, I
or
think that
trans change? Excuse me.
well, because a lot of people want to police other people, including their children.
Correct. of course.
However, something like that is so it's not like getting a tattoo. You can get it removed. So permanent that it's like the idea in the U.S. where it's you can't drink till you're 21, but you can get in the military when you're 18. What the fuck? But so little coherence. So if people can't drink alcohol till they're 18, I mean, maybe institute some kind of a program that makes it so these kids have support, but don't put them in a position where their brains aren't biologically, physically fully formed yet, where they can make a decision that will never, ever be able to be something they can never reconsider. And this is with all due respect to trans kids, because I'm not a trans kid, I never was, so I'm not going to say what I know what that feels like. But at 12, there are decisions that I made that had it been permanent, I would have been screwed. That's the only thing. That's the only thing.
That was a perfect 1 minute soundbite too. I also want to say there is going to necessitate at that age specifically, it will be necessary to have what is being called a competencia, or you're going to have to do a certification and registration with a civil registrar here in Spain or Catalonia to certify that there is a disconformity that you feel with the sex that you were assigned with at birth. My only concern as a member of the LGBTQ plus community is that does this give fodder for other people to then start using that as an element against trans kids, against the hate that already happens, less so in this country, more so perhaps in the US and UK, and let's be real.
Any law that's going to be favoring any group that is a minority, so to speak, from like the general mainstream populace,
Yeah.
anything that's designed to help, well, women, including the minority, half the planet, any law that's
And
going
yet
to...
the majority of population.
Yeah,
but
whether
yes.
whether the law is correct or not, but any measure that's going to be implemented to try to help anybody that's not, no offense, white straight men,
Right.
someone's going to get mad about it. So if the law is correct or if the law is completely incorrect. So I think that, with all due respect, that yardstick is just going to be someone's going to get mad about something. It doesn't matter if you're trying to say that women are people too, or you're trying to allow trans children to have an operation at 12. So
Correct.
I think it's more about, is that law healthy for the kids? And if someone's going to get mad about it, of course they are. People just love to get mad, and especially in this country. I love this country. I've been here for 12 years, but people love to get mad here. So of course we're going to get mad about
And
something.
complain and make their voices known. So I mean, this is just happening, folks. So this is going to be something that's going to certainly be of options coming up to 2023. We're also in the middle of a major constitutional crisis here in Moncloa and in the courts. Not only in Moncloa, actually, throughout Spain, in the judicial reforms and things that are being thwarted by one side against the other. Of course, the Podemos is more of an extreme point, and socialist in the middle, Pepe on the right. It's not healthy, and it's very interesting that these types of constitutional things are happening in the UK, in Hungary, in the US, over here. I mean,
Well,
there are
world's
similarities
in
of factions that are going on.
The world's in a point of transition. People are freaking out. And after all these crises that have gone on between, it sounds like a bad B movie, right? There's a Patty Griffin song that there's a war and a plague, a smoking disaster, lions in the Coliseum scream of laughter, but love throws a line to you and me. I mean, really, aside from the friends I've got, the music that we have, the good people in my life, nothing else is making any sense right now. There is a war, there has been kind of a plague, smoking disaster, just ni hablar. And however, the only good thing is that some of these reactions way to the right, for example, I'm not pleased about but people tend to go towards control when there's been a lot of discontrol.
As we have had.
Right? But the only good
Completely.
thing is that people are suddenly becoming a lot more engaged with the political process, young people, old people, everybody. And that is a very positive thing. And at least people are talking about it, and with social media, people can get information. Some of it's correct, some of it's not. But I mean,
Amen.
so this is all a very good thing. And for example, the Spanish constitutional reforms and things like this, Spain is physically the longest constitution written in the EU, and it's only been reformed twice.
And it's the newest.
So it's not a bad thing that they're talking about it. Let's just hope the conversations go in a direction that truly does serve all of the populace.
All of the populace, not just 30 to 40% of it. This is kind of the issue everywhere. There's also, and when it's speaking of love, terrible accident happened in Galicia like yesterday. A bus plunged of passengers rolling back through Christmas holidays. And so far, we know that 8 people have passed. The driver and the passenger that was next to him have apparently survived, but they were rushed into the waters of a bridge. Over the bridge and rushed into waters that killed the majority of the people in there. So thoughts, love, and power to the families that are having to go through that right now. This just happened last night as we were all getting ready for bed. As we mentioned just before at the beginning of the situation of our last show here, we no longer pay the most in electricity. That goes to the UK. Strikes and walkouts throughout the UK. In fact, all over airports and in hospitals, nurses are striking, as well as flight attendants and people who work for the specific airports, I believe, like big ones like Heathrow, for example, are just walking out. They are striking and demanding better pay and benefits for them, especially post-pandemic. So many older folk, and this is one of the major issues, are having to stop at heating banks because they have to decide whether they have heat or eat. And this is what's happening in the UK because they are not paying the most in electricity prices and heating prices. And this does have everything to do, for them anyway, of Russia, with this war with Russia.
Well, that's the thing is, people, we live in sounds like a cliche, but it's in a global economy. You can't have something like that happening in Europe and it doesn't affect other people. So
even if they're not part of Europe anymore. Smile and thank you so much.
He's just looking to get in trouble with your audience,
Exactly.
senor.
So much for the years of service. Shout out to livinginspain.uk and the embassy there. Now, hey, longtime sponsors. Now, worst U.S. storm in modern history. As I speak to you, there are still people trapped, scores of people trapped in upstate New York and Buffalo in their cars, and I've been there for 3 days.
Well, yeah, but I did speak to a friend who lives in Buffalo, and she said, it's Buffalo. We're used to it. It's fine. So this is kind of like some of the people I've spoken to who
That's a New Yorker for you.
Exactly.
But still, they are unfortunately in our hearts. And let's go out to that. There are over 50 people that have been reporting as it went on. I was just checking all the sites, and so far they've counted 27 just in one little little city, actually. So, folks, bundle up. We're really blessed to have some decent weather over here. Can we just, testify on that? And we're going to segue into some interview and some talk now because we have another song to talk about. Until Morning, which is also coming from the Mar Electric set, I believe.
Yes, but it's so funny. I mean, funny, like...
Not funny, haha.
Funny like a clown, yes. No, it's interesting how music can take on different meaning over time. A song you've written yourself can take on different meaning over time, but especially we're talking about, like I said, wars, plague, disasters, people dying. Yep. So this song is... This song was not about love and stuff. Bono from U2 once said that the easiest way to express a sentiment or a feeling of just any strong feeling is through a song that sounds like it's about a relationship, but it doesn't have to be. So this song sounds like it's about just stay with me tonight, just let me get through the night. It was actually about how I felt about Barcelona when I was trying to decide if I wanted to move here or not, and how much I love the city. So, but after talking about the world and this chaos that we are living in, but we are, at least I will speak for myself, I've had the good luck to have not had to be in the center of, for example, a war zone. But it does make you realize when you listen, even to your own lyrics, that talk about, I hope I can get through the night. It gives it a different perspective after what we just talked about. But yes, this song, Until Morning, is about Barcelona and how much I felt like I really wanted to come here before I even moved here. But we redid the arrangement for El Mar Electric, and I have been so lucky to have worked with the incredible band I work with. And they have finally, after like 10 years, finally all decided to wear black shoes on stage. Thank you for that, by the way. But so
black shoes.
But these amazing people. Xavi Garcia is the cajonero, the percussionist.
Yeah, shout
Ramon
out.
Bagué bass. Ignacio Cama is on flamenco guitar. He just turned 40. Feliz Navidad. Feliz cumpleaños. Feliz todo. And Rubio, the electric guitar player, and our electric guitar player Peachy. He and Rubio are kind of like my two husbands, as far as the electric guitar go. And this arrangement is by myself collaborating with them, and without them this music wouldn't exist. So I just wanted to make sure I give them a shout out while we could.
Mad shout out, mad love, and you're going to be hearing this all through the spring, and we're going to talk about it just after this song. In fact, Until Morning is being played right now, and remember, you can catch the Jam Time on 106.9 FM and RCE.cat, and we'll be right back. This is Tori Sparks. Until Morning.
I'll be the light in my room. Give me until morning. Oh yes, and lend me your skin now till the day comes too soon. 'Cause I love you. Yes, I love you the way that the wick loves the flame. Oh, I love you, yes I do. Oh, I love you the way that the cure loves the pain. I was waiting, I have been waiting, all for you. I've been waking up cold. I've been waking up haunted. I've been haunted by the reed. Oh, I've been haunted by things I didn't even know that I wanted till I loved you. Yes, I love you the way that the tide loves the same. I love you, yes I do. Oh, babe, just like the gun loves. Yes, it loves the trigger happy hand. I was waiting, I have been waiting, all for you. Yes, I love you. Baby, I love you the way that the crackles the train. Oh, yeah. I love you, yes I do. All these years, babe, I didn't know what I didn't have until I learned your name. I was waiting, I've been waiting, I was waiting. Oh, yes, I've been waiting, I was waiting, I have been waiting, I have been waiting, I was waiting for you. Oh, stay, please stay, just for a little while. I need you to lend me your skin. I'm watching you sleep. Oh, as the day creeps in, as the day creeps in, oh Lord. As the day.
From the Mar Electric record, and that is going to be coming out, and concerts all over. I mean, okay, so let's just talk about it, because now we can just segue into it, as Lucas refuses to spill any more kava. That's the way we roll, children. Welcome back. That was Lady Tori Sparks and Until Morning. Now, let's just get into the nitty-gritty. We are now entering the 4th year of pandemic. Fun! But we've just finished 3 years, and obviously things are opening up poc a poc, as we say here in Catalonia, little by little. How do you feel about that? Because I feel like it's much slower than as I've seen in places like France, US, UK, more specifically.
Well, it's easy to criticize anywhere you live, right?
Yeah.
When I lived in Nashville, it was like, Nashville. Everything was Nashville's fault. Like I would wash like a pink sock with my like white sheets, and everything would turn pink, and I'm like, Nashville's fault. So it's easy to criticize where you live. However, the system here, and this is something I've taken. For a couple of years, I was the secretary of the Sindicato de Músicos de Catalunya, the musicians union here in Catalonia. So as a result, I've had the opportunity to see things from both the side of the legal side as well as the side of a performer, and you see how things work here, right? And the difference between every country works differently, but the difference between this country and other countries close by, like France, for example, or Denmark or Germany, is that first of all, if they forced you to be an autonomo as a musician, then there's not even like an epigrafe, there's not even a category for musicians. It's bullfighters and artists. Bullfighter first, by the way. So.
Really?
Yeah. And why I say when they make you be an autonomo, it's because according to a law that was passed in 1985, a music venue that hires you, the promoter technically who hires you, is supposed to put you on the books, darte de alta, no? But everybody, including the querido government, does not do that. They just don't do it. And they're like, and if you don't like it, don't play. And so the system was already broken. And I'm going to answer this honestly. I could be very diplomatic about it, but I think it's important that people speak the truth about this stuff, because some 18-year-old who's just starting his or her career is going to be feeling like they're the only one that doesn't understand why things aren't working out, right? So the issue is the system is already set up to, unfortunately, not take care of all the components of the system, such as the musicians, like the sound people. It puts them in a very bad position legally, and it doesn't even the government doesn't follow the law when it comes to the laboral responsibilities. How is a small club going to do it? No? So that we've already had the system be broken for years and years and years. On top of that, you got the pandemic. This is a problem. When the pandemic began, the Minister of Culture said, culture's not really an issue right now. And of course, those of us who work in culture, we all did that face. We went, what? But you. It's like your husband calling you ugly. You're like, really? Mm-hmm. So you of all people, you were supposed to be on my side, right? So everything was already kind of messed up. The only good thing, kind of like the war and the plague and the smoke and the disaster, the only good thing is that because of the pandemic, suddenly musicians they were doing these streaming concerts and things, and everyone became aware, oh my God, music's important. Oh my God, live music's important. Let's support some music. Now that things are getting better, we can not wear masks, for example, in the studio. This is lovely.
Correct.
People think the lay people who are not involved in this industry have no reason to not think things are fine, because our job is to be on social media and pretend like things are fine. But I'm not gonna put the photo of me where I'm like weeping about how difficult things are with like my mascara going like this down my face on Facebook. I'm gonna put the one where I'm like, I'm with Lucas in the studio. This is amazing. Probably our own faults. We pretend like everything is fine. However, things are not fine. The live music industry has not recovered. Not in Germany, not in Denmark, not in France, but at least these places have kind of a safety net in place for artists, musicians, people who work in culture, for riggers, for crew, for backstage people, that's permitted them to a point to survive. And here, there have been a couple of ayudas, but there've been a little bit of help, but it's been incredibly minimal, and the laws have not changed. So as a result, people I know who are way more famous than me are begging to play in the clubs that I play at. People who are just starting their careers are asking me, why can I not get started? And so it's still very, very tough. So all this not to complain, but just to say that if you see your favorite artists on the internet still playing, please understand that they're playing in spite of all this. So go see them, buy their record at a local music store. Don't listen to it on Spotify, because, and I'm not being dramatic, I don't know how most of us are surviving. And I would rather say this and have people think, oh, Tori's being all crazy. No. It's the truth. I'd rather have, because no one's going to put this on their Facebook because they don't want to look like the one artist that can't get their shit back together after the pandemic. We are all struggling, but we are all still fighting.
It's so interesting. At the holiday show, I was going to throw out Stephen Colbert's name. Mariah Carey came on, and, she has the #1 song every damn Christmas with that song. And she said, I just think that people need to know, because it's not just us artists, it's the ones who are coming up. She said, even an established artist like me, we get 0.016 cents for each time that song is played.
On where?
On Spotify, Tidal, and those kinds of... No, Tidal gives a little bit more, I think, but they have fewer, so... But
Because Spotify is actually, it's a kind of a pie. I don't know if you know this. Perhaps I'm telling you things you know.
Please.
It's like kind of a, it's like a, I don't even know what you call this. It's basically Spotify works in the way where if you and I are the only two artists on Spotify, and you get played once and I get played 10 times, they divide that up into 11 pieces then, and you get 1 and I get 11. I get 10 rather. So it adds up to 11. So, but imagine there are Mariah Carey and you and me. And she gets played 700 million times, and we get each played 10 times in once. She gets 700 million of that pie, of the pie, though. So it's not like you get like a specific amount per play, even if it's 0.1%. You don't. You get plays depending on the algorithm.
Portion of the pie that's been cut.
So, for example, when I released Wait No More, which was a double live album we recorded in Luz de Gas in 2019, on YouTube, for example, we had a total of, I don't know, I mean, for an independent artist, it's kind of big, like 500,000 views or something like this, and I think I got like 80 euros. So it's like, again, I mean, the diva part, the look at how glamorous and beautiful this is, it is, right? But at the end of the day, how do people make their money in this world of streaming where we live? People like Mariah Carey are talking about it. You know it's not easy. All right?
Wow. Maybe that's why she has to be the queen of Christmas now. Speaking of Christmas, Alma de Boquerón released a record and a song that we're going to play right now called Muros de Pena. And because we're talking about struggles, this is something that well, you tell the story better than I do, but it's a payout to what's going on with the pandemic.
Yes. Because speaking of Christmas, right before Christmas, they had their CD release show, also in Luz de Gas, which I know this venue sometimes gets a rap for being, expensive with the drinks and the stuff and the pico and stuff, but it's one of the venues that has most supported me and has done more benefit concerts than any other venue I've played. So I just want to put that out there. They played at Luz de Gas for their last their album release show for this new album they've just released this year called Contra Viento y Marea, which basically means against all wind and storms, and we're fighting anyway, which is appropriate for the pandemic. Right before Christmas, they played there. They presented this new record, which is like their 7th record or something, and it's the second one that I've had the good fortune to work with them on vocal production. They started out as this very, very local playing in bars band, and that was it. And they sounded fine. They were fun. That was it. Now, though, honestly, as a musician, you listen to them, it's so impressive what they've done with their arrangements, and Jordi Nacenta, who is the leader of the band, is just such a great songwriter. They had a campaign this summer on La Sirena. They've done all kinds of stuff, and that's hard to do, to come from like this bar band that just does fun rumba to something that's just as fun, but it's great artistically. This song, Muros de Pena, was about how all of a sudden we're all stuck at home. And when was it that suddenly you couldn't smile at people? When was it that suddenly like a screen was a substitute for giving somebody like a hug, And Jordy's one of these artists that he's able to capture that in lyrics without it being remotely cheesy, and I really feel honored to work with them. They're good people.
Oh, very much so. So shout out to Jordi and the boys and Rosabel as well. This is Muros de Pena. We'll be right back in 3 minutes, kids.
¿Cuándo fue que la vida cogió mi vida y la sacudió? ¿Cuándo fue que mi vaso un torpe codazo lo derramó? Cuando se paró el tiempo y se puso caro eso de soñar. Cuando hasta una sonrisa perdió poder bajo máscaras. Son malos tiempos para un optimista, pero yo despego, tú dame pista. Cuando alguien dio de bruces contra la luz y todo apagó. Cuando empezó a ser ocio solo asomarse por el balcón. Cuando todo lo fácil perdió su paso y se complicó. Cuando tomó veneno, darse un abrazo, besar mi amor. Son malos tiempos para un optimista, pero yo despego, tú dame pista. Y ahí vamos dando brincos, buscando puertas del laberinto, pintando a brocha alguna ventana en estas paredes santas, y apuramos la espera que se construya una carretera que acabe con estos muros, que acabe con estos muros, que acabe con estos muros, estos muros de pena. En aquella mano apostamos todo y no era farol. Y ahora mandan pa' casa poco de ver la puesta de sol. Cuando andar por la calle fue de valiente o loco de atar. Cuando fue que la vida empezó a regarnos de soledad. Son malos tiempos pa' un optimista, pero yo despego, tú dame pista. Y ahí vamos dando brinco, buscando puertas de laberinto, pintando a brocha alguna ventana en estas paredes altas. Y apuramos la espera que se construya una carretera que acabe con estos muros, que acabe con estos muros, que acabe con estos muros. Buscando puertas del laberinto, pintando a brocha alguna ventana en estas paredes altas. Y apuramos la espera que se construya una carretera que acabe con estos muros, que acabe con estos muros, que acabe con estos muros de pena.
Oh, yeah. And that was our boys. Man, shout out to Muros de Pena. We were at a Christmas Eve festa, and people wanted to hear some flamenco, and my homegirl put some that went fabulous party. Shout out, Britt. And I love you, mama. And she's like, I'm just not feeling it. And I said, we need some alma de boqueron. And someone turned to me and said, are you a boqueron? And I said, girl, yeah. And we put it on, and the festa started. And I'm not even kidding. It was beautiful. So shout out to Alma de Boqueron, who's also going to be doing more shows as well. But I want to talk about some stuff that you're going to be doing, because there's an Elvis show. There's an annual Elvis show.
Yes.
And we just give a shout out to Luce the Gas again. So thank you for supporting local music. This is why this show is also here, and why my queen is also here today. And Luce the Gas is going to be doing that. This is an annual thing that you've been really behind the scenes with the Gangsta Lean for a while now. Talk to us about the annual Elvis show, which is going to be kicking off on Luce the Gas on the 21st of January, please.
Yes, every year since actually the first Elvis and Friends show is what they call it. I mean, of course, Elvis isn't actually there, but occasionally they do have someone who
Spirit is.
Yes, the spirit's there, and you know that's the cool thing about being a musician. It's like some people worry about what they'll leave behind, you know, and when they are gone. So look at somebody like Elvis. It continues to impact artists, every generation of artists, no? So it's very cool because this particular event, the first time they did it, I couldn't do it because I was on tour in Germany and I was super sad about it. I really wanted to be a part of it. The second time, ever since then, I've been a part of it since 2017. Every year they've done it, except once they could not because of the pandemic. And I feel very lucky to be invited back because they tend to have different guest artists every year. And they keep having me back and I don't even know why, especially because last year I kicked my shoe into the audience and it almost killed everyone. So, but they're still having me back, so it's fine. But it's
For real?
Oh no, yeah.
Oh, I love this.
It's on YouTube. If you look up Baby What You Want Me to Do with myself and Danny Nello, amazing sax player.
Oh, shout out.
The shoe
And
goes
shout
out into
Mitzi.
the audience and almost kills everyone. So yes, but this benefit concert is cool because Club Elvis, Joaquin is the president of Club Elvis. I mean, even he buys tickets to the concert. Him himself and the band too.
Really?
The backing band, the Elvis tribute band, which is run by Agustí Burriel, an amazing singer who sounds just like Elvis. Great talent. So these people, they don't get paid, but they have between 20 and 30 invited guest artists every single year. Everyone contributes their time to raise money for a good cause. Sometimes it's cancer research. Sometimes it's, for example, when there was a huge storm in the islands, they were raising money for like animal shelters and things. This year it's for Cerca, which is an organization that's local that helps people with trastorno alimentarios, which basically means eating disorders. Because this particular theme affects one of the people who is involved in their family. So we decided this would be a good thing this year to do. But I really admire this group of people because every single year they have different invited artists. There are famous people that come from Madrid, from Valencia, people who normally wouldn't come to Barcelona for less than, no sé qué precio, lots of money. Everybody just comes here for free because they want to be a part of this beautiful event, because they want to raise money for a good cause. And every year it's just such a pleasure to be a part of it. So that's the 21st of January. at Luz de Gas, and I will be possibly on crutches because I just had. Can you guys see this? Because I just had foot surgery. And
she may be having a broken foot, but what she can do is amazing.
yeah, so I'm not going to be kicking shoes into the audience this year. I'm so sorry, but I could throw some if you guys really want me to. But I just really I want to promote them as much as possible because this is something that after the first year I thought they'd never do again. It's so much work for them, but every year it's an incredible event, and I'm super excited. So I encourage you all to go because.
And where can they get the tickets, Preto?
They if you just look up Luz de Gas's website, or there's also a 99% Moto Bar, which is in Corts or Sanso, I don't remember. It's this Harley Davidson bar. It's super cool. They've got hamburgers.
Oh, hail to the yeah. Okay, U.S. Americans, you know what to do, and a lot of you love this Roomba rock fusion. So let's get this going. You can get those tickets as well through Luz de Gas, and that's going to be on the 21st of January, kicking off at
8:30.
8:30. Children of the Corn.
And Code Tickets, I think, is also the site where you can get it, but all the money goes to help this organization, Setka. Next year, it'll be a different nonprofit, but every year they do this, so whether I'm there or not, I encourage you guys every January to look out for this event, because it used to be on the 8th of January every year for the anniversary of the passing of Elvis, and now it's always just sometime in January, but it's always lots of fun, and I promise you that like it is one of the best shows you'll see all year.
Exactly, and one of the things that I love about Lady T is that she promotes these kinds of things that helps other people in certain situations, and you also do a lot in promoting other people. For example, the Mother Crow.
Yeah.
First, the name.
Well, it's cool when you move to a city like Barcelona and there's all these bands that in any other city would be the only the top band. In this city, you got A Contra Blues, you've got Daniello and Mambo Jambo and his other projects, you've got the Amo de Boquerón, you've got Luz Verde, you've got the Mother Crow, you've got all these people who, I mean, honestly, why do they not all have Grammys? But so Karen is the singer of the Mother Crow. She's a friend. I met her through an amazing photographer named Luis Lecumbere, who's been super supportive of us. He takes photos for them as well. And so Karen, she asked me to help, just like with the Boquerones, on vocal production in the studio, which a vocal producer goes in and just kind of makes sure that everything is working like it should, just like any other producer would, but specifically focused on the vocals and making sure you get the best performance out of that artist possible, which with Karen isn't that hard because she's un monstruo, as they call it. She's just, her voice is like a force of nature, and they are releasing their next album next year, and no one has heard this music yet, and I asked their permission if we could play a song called Howling from their upcoming album in 2023, and yes, I do like to support artists that I work with and other local artists because they deserve it, and the world would be a better place if people would stop being like, yo, and me, and by the way, me. And I want people to hear this music. So this is a song by the Mother Crow, which honestly, this is an estreno, so you guys are super lucky to be here. So
shout out to the Mother Crow, and this is the Howling. No, this is Howling, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes to wrap up, kids. And that's when we're going to have a homegirl from the Mother Crow howling sometime here, maybe.
Yeah, her English is better than mine. Yeah.
Oh, well, I hardly doubt that. Now, we're going to have to start wrapping up our show, and we'll be back in a few weeks, my loves, with our Season 5 intro and opening in January 2023. But firstly, really quickly, so I can do another Insta show, the Mar Electric shows, this is tying up with Ayuntamiento, if I'm not mistaken, and they're going to be going on throughout the spring. Can you tell us a little bit about that quickly, please?
Yes, it's a my Catalan accent is awesome. Ya verás. It's Barcelona Distrito Cultural. Barcelona Cultural District, basically. P23, P23, Primavera, Spring 2023, where they select a series of artists to present new projects in different cultural centers and civic centers around the city. So, because we were already planning on trying to find a special way to present the live show Mar Electric, which we had recorded these videos in La Nawostic, local venue, we hadn't officially presented the project live really in Barcelona and beyond. So we're planning shows around Spain and other places this year, but we were very excited to be selected for this concert cycle because we can present it in 5 different civic centers around the city in different barrios, which really ties into, as you guys may have noticed, how important it is to me to support the different, like the tela cultura, the local culture, right? So on February 17th is the first concert, but there February, March, and April, we have several concerts, and all that information is on the website. And I'm super excited. It's with the whole band presenting the Mar Electric project. And again, kind of in repaso, like a summary of everything that we've done since I have had the good fortune to move to Barcelona.
That's right. You know what? And folks, also don't forget, you want to get your tickets as well for the January 21st show that's happening at Luz de Gas, kicking off at 8 o'clock. With Lady Tori and friends. It's going to be a spectacular throughout the night. And remember, all of the proceeds go to help people who are fighting and living with eating disorders. In fact, that affects people in my community and people I teach, actually.
Well,
so
and people
I'm
think
really
that,
glad to hear that.
Yeah, well, people think when you talk about, for example, raising money for cancer research, that people say, oh, that's serious, and it is. But when you talk about something like eating disorders, people think, oh, it's like a thing that models go through or some stupid shit. It is, it's a serious thing. It affects a lot of people. And
especially our sisters, our little girls.
These days,
Instagram has been targeting them, by the way, with this.
Yeah, and until you see how that affects an entire family, you don't realize that this is a serious health issue. And so I'm pleased that they've selected this organization, and specifically because there are some issues that are health issues that are spoken about, and they're considered like the ones with like the important ones. But there's all kinds of other ones that are just as important. This one is, and again, all of these people are people from all over the country, and the ETB, the Elvis Tribute Band, who are based here, and Club Elvis, who are based here, who are donating so much time to this incredible event. So just come support. Plus, you'll have fun.
Man, you already know, Luz de Gas, you always have fun over there, and then you pop out for something else, folks. The 21st of January, Lady Tori Sparks and the Queen in the Corner. Thank you so much for being here.
Mom.
Thank you, everybody, for a wonderful season 4 of this year. We'll be right back. We'll be back in mid-January for the kickoff of season 5 as we roar back in. Remember, folks, have a beautiful Happy New Year, a joyous Reyes, and take some time to take some rest. Keep your distance. Remember, spread holiday love and cheer, not COVID. And remember, folks, you are loved. We're going to shout out with Tori Sparks and another live show from the Mar Electric, and this is Adam. Thank you so much.
And thanks to you for supporting independent artists, independent radio. The Club with Lucas, por favor, un aplauso. Thank you very much.
We'll give you that shout out all over the Twitter pages and Instagram. We love you, folks. Have a great end of year. Bye-bye.
Take the book and erase your name. You don't deserve to walk in the ranks and beg no more. Don't let that door hit you on your way.